Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. I'm your host, Bernadette, and joining me today is Urvi. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What's the weather like where you are? Is it cold?
No, not too cold. I feel like it's probably in between cold and warm. It's brisk. I think that's the way I'll describe it. It's brisk. It is windy
Okay.
today, so it feels a little bit
Yeah.
um
Okay.
more on the brisky side.
Oh, nice. So what is it that you do and how do you do it?
Sure. So I am a spiritual coach and healer. I got certified in coaching and then I got certified in mindfulness tools like meditation, breath work, and EFT tapping. And then I went further to work with a spiritual mentor, who kind of helped me discover, I'll say it this way, discover and unlock the gifts that I had, the spiritual gifts I had. So one of my really powerful spiritual gifts is working with the subconscious mind and understanding um, the energies that are stored and like kind of transmuting that. And so I can actually do subconscious reading, which is what I offer, and then like pair that with actually bringing in the higher self and the soul and like kind of give a soul blueprint. So that's kind of the work I do. I kind of moved from that work. I still do that, and I do spiritual coaching, but I kind of moved further into a niche of working with women that are on their motherhood journey. So
Mhm.
I had a very long um, journey myself within fertility. It took me 8.5 years before I got pregnant. And so throughout my journey and then pregnancy and postpartum, I started to discover like a lot of the um, disconnect and like the resources that just weren't like they were there, but they're just not available to you when you're in that state. And I started to really have this calling to become an advocate for those women.
Mm, yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I love the work that you do. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what got you into EFT? Can you tell us more about it? Because maybe people have heard of the word, they don't really know what it means.
Yeah, so EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And the thought process is that we have meridian points. Meridian points are just like small energy centers, if you can think about it that way, throughout our body. And this practice is like the meridian points is very similar to acupuncture. So if you've been to acupuncture, it's the same thing. They put needles in your meridian points. Um, in EFT tapping, you're only dealing with the meridian points on your arm and then on your face. And the idea is that we have certain emotions that are tied to our subconscious mind that are stored here on an emotional layer. And when we start to tap these and say affirmations, it starts to release those things. So I started getting into it by practicing it on myself. So during my infertility journey, I had a period where I was very much in fear and in anxiety. And so to release all of that, I started practicing EFT and then I started getting into, oh, like I would love to like learn this myself and get certified in it to teach other people because I started to learn the very quick like power that it had. So as soon as like you start tapping on those points, like quickly, it's like your mind will like start to shift into and reframe what you're feeling, but also what you're thinking and how you then move about, making a decision.
Oh, that's so interesting, fascinating.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of where in the body you'd be tapping at?
Yeah, so you start here, which is the side of your arm. So your palm. So I mean, if you're a righty, you would use your right arm to tap. It kind
I
of
am.
feels weird to tap with your left, and so it's
Yeah.
the side like the pinky, right under the pinky, and then and then you go over to your eyebrow,
Mhm.
like right on the outside of your eyebrow, then
Okay.
um, the inside, the outside,
Yeah.
underneath your nose, on your chin, then on your collarbone, then over here, and then on top of your head.
Okay, that's really cool. Um, do you find when you were doing that or have other clients shared that based on where they tap or you tap, there's certain emotions or trauma that surface for them?
Yeah, so a lot of like the fear-based traumas usually here. When you get here, it's like a lot of the thoughts that are stored inside of you.
Yeah.
here and here, even in your collarbone, it's like a lot of like heavy anxiety, heavy fear. And a lot of times I tell clients, like, you don't need to go through all the points. You can actually just tap on some. So, like, when I was going through fertility, I ended up going through IVF. Every time I was in the clinic before I would go in for a test, I would just tap on this point
Hmm.
to just reframe. Like, I didn't go through all of them. Sometimes I'll tap here when I feel like sadness or like something very heavy above my heart. I'll just tap this point. And so it's like once you start doing it, you start to learn yourself, like where things are stored for you. I feel like it's very individual and like what is heavy for you, because I feel like we all have a very different emotional code, just like we all have a very different subconscious mental code as well.
Mm.
I mean, that's part of our blueprint. That's part of our soul correction.
Yeah.
And so once you start to learn those things about you, you can start to work with whatever works for you.
Hmm. Oh, that's really cool. You mentioned that you do subconscious reading. That's
Yeah,
the first time I've heard the reading part. I know what the subconscious is. Can you
yeah.
walk us through what is that?
Yeah, so it's based off of the whole theory that we are energetic beings, right? And everything is energy. So whatever's stored in our subconscious, which are usually thoughts, it's more than thoughts, it's also emotions, but let's just call it energy. The energy that's stored within your subconscious, it can be reprogrammed, right? And in order for it to be reprogrammed, it needs to also be cleansed and cleared. And so what I do is I kind of go in there and I kind of like listen to what's in the subconscious and like I kind of like tell you like, hey, these are the things that are like really coming up in your subconscious. Here are your blocks. Like these are the things that like you need to work on. Here are the energies that are very strong. And then I can actually, I hear it first. And then after hearing it, I actually visually see like, let's just say you have a subconscious thought that's based off of fear and maybe it came from childhood. It's like connected to your heart or your solar plexus. I can like see a cord like going down. And so I'm able to tell them like, here are some things that you need to work on. With the subconscious reading, I also bring in the higher self and the soul. And I do that because the wisdom is within us, right? So it's like I'm doing the reading, but I'm not giving you anything that you don't know. And like I like to bridge the gap between the individual and build a relationship with them and their soul because it's really your own personal journey. And so I call the soul in to be like, okay, what is the guidance for this person in this point in time where they're at in life? Because though you may know everything, like let's just say you have this very deep fear inside of you and you know you have that fear, you may not be ready to release it yet. And your soul is going to be able to guide you on the exact path of how to release that.
Yeah, yeah, that's so cool. You said that you can hear. That is so fascinating.
Yeah, so I think
Tell me more. I'm like a giddy happy kid here.
so I think within like the psychic abilities, right? There's different clairs. So I think my first one is clairaudience. I always hear. So I hear messages. I hear like channeled messages. Like that's my first, like very first. And then if I'm able to close my eyes in that moment, I'm able to see. But I don't see first, I hear first. And so when I tap into your subconscious, like I hear your subconscious talking to me.
Oh boy.
I hear those energies talking to me. And then I'll start to hear other things. Like maybe I'll hear your spirit team or your angels coming in and being like, no, 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 they don't need to know that right now. Like it's like I'm getting like guidance of like what to tell you, what not to. And like if I call your soul in, I'll hear like what your soul is saying first.
Yeah.
I usually do these readings with my eyes closed so I can focus on it more. And then that's how I can see because once I hear it, I can then like see the actual energetic body and like the cords that are attached to all of these thoughts.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
How do you filter what not to hear or to hear? Because maybe you're around people and then you're picking up so many different things. And does your system ever crash? How do you protect yourself?
Yeah, so for me, it's doing a lot of protecting my own aura. So before I get into a reading, I always do a protective prayer first before I get into the reading, and then with the person. So I create a protective bubble around. I'm able to now be in the stage where I can discern between this is something that I'm hearing that is for the higher good, or this is something else that's coming through, and like don't pay attention to this.
Yeah.
Um, when I first started this work, when I was working with my spiritual mentor about like 5 years ago, I was like not able to be in crowded places because I could hear.
Yeah.
Like I like going into a restaurant, I could hear everything. And so she really taught me about how to protect my own aura, my own energy, so nothing seeps through, and then do a cleanse at night. So I'm like cleansing my own body if anything did attach to me throughout the day.
Yeah. Is that why you have a headphone? Is that part of it?
No, I only have this because my mic wasn't working. So this one has a mic on it. So I used the
Yeah.
headphone. But yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I think so many people, especially those of us who are empaths, we can relate to you, to what you shared, feeling overwhelmed. Because
Mhm.
I've felt that way. And I know I have psychic gifts. I have no clue how to use them. If people ask me, don't ask me how, because I just don't know how. It just happened. It just is. And it's really cool. Um, what are some myths or misconceptions that you've noticed people have had when it comes to the subconscious mind? Because people are so terrified. I'm scared of mine. I'll speak for myself.
Yeah, I think the most common myth that I've heard is like all the negative, right? Like all the negative
Yeah.
things that the subconscious mind is, and it's not a negative place. It's just if we think about it, it's just like a memory bank, or like an external drive for your computer. That's a way, or drive for your computer. It just stores everything there, and it like remembers and things like that. And so there's nothing bad or good about it. It's just a very neutral place that stores data. And I think that when you think about it that way, it makes it easier for you to know that, okay, well, if you have a very prominent thought that stops you from doing something, you can change that into becoming something positive for your own favor. Because it's just data, it can be manipulated.
Yeah, that's true. How does the soul and the higher self work with the subconscious mind to help us?
So the soul and the higher self is the operator. I guess if you think about the subconscious mind being the drive, there needs to be an operator for that, an override for that. And the soul is the one that's directing everything. Um, there's a lot of things that are in your in your subconscious because it's by design.
Mm,
Because in this lifetime, your soul had to go through certain corrections, certain lessons, and so it's stored within your computer for you to learn those things. However, the soul is always there to put you in like an override. So if like,
mm,
and I've noticed this in my life. So if you're like constantly in this place of like despair, you're not going to be there for too long. Your soul is going to override it and take you into a place of like, nope, but life is really good. You're not going to hit that rock bottom
mhm,
um, until like for too long if you're able to bear through it. Now, there's many people that are not able to bear through it. There's many other things that start to happen
mhm.
um, during those moments, and you know that's a whole other topic. But if you're able to kind of hold on to your faith and hold on to something more, your hope, your soul will bring you back up and you'll start to see things bounce back.
Yeah, I'm so happy my conscious mind is not in charge. Everything would just be a mess
Yeah.
because it's a bunch of feelings. You feel stuff, and then based on that, you just act on it or react or do whatever with it. But I love that. I've always wondered why the higher self is called the higher self because I heard people talking about it from different perspective. If the higher self is high, am I low? Am I less than? Am I not equal to it? That's always been my question.
No, so the reason why it's called your higher self is because that's the highest potential of you. And in actuality, there is a parallel universe where you're living that life. The reason why you're not there yet is because you're buffering to that version of you. So there's separation between the present you and your higher self. Um, but the higher self always reminds you, like, here are the things that you can do to be me. And then,
Yeah.
obviously there's a battle between that and the ego tries to pull us back down.
Mhm.
And so we go through those cycles before we actually become our higher self, who we actually are right now. It's just we can't see it.
Mm. Yeah, you mentioned parallel lives. Um, is that something that resonates with you? Excuse me,
Yeah.
especially past lives.
Yeah. So I believe that we, from our past lives, our future lives, our higher self, they all exist at one point in time because time is just right now we see time as a very like lateral thing, but time is not a thing in the universe. So I believe that there's multiverses, parallel universes, maybe you can think about it that way, parallel dimensions where all of these versions are living at once. And I actually feel that sometimes when a past version of me or a past life of me is going through something, I'm able to feel it in this present lifetime through another way.
Whoa.
And ever since I did like past life regressions, like I'm able to tap into that even more of like, oh, I felt that then, but I'm actually feeling it now. I had this whole profound thing one day when I was cooking of like actually remembering something from a past life of like, oh, in the future I will be like this. And that was like me cooking that day. Like I could remember that. And I was like, wow, it's all happening at once. And so that's what I believe. I believe that there's no such thing as a past life or a future. It's like all in the present and it's all happening right now. They're just different dimensions that we go up and down from.
Oh, that's so cool. So in one dimension, I could be, I don't know, a criminal, and then another, I could be a lawyer.
Hmm.
It's so fascinating, so cool.
Hmm.
Would you say part of that remembrance, is that what we call deja vu? Because I have those 24/7 all the time.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's funny that you're asking that question because me and my husband have discussions about this like every like 2 weeks about deja vu. But yeah, like that's what I believe. I believe that the deja vu is nothing but the remembrance of another parallel dimension that we already are living in.
Hmm, hmm. So I've done past lives. I've been back to many different timelines. You mentioned there's everything is now, but why is it when I saw what I saw, it was from a later time frame? Would you say I'm still existing in that other time frame, the 1800? Another one was gladiator time, and then I'm here in 2025.
Yeah. So it's because our mind has conceptualized time and being a very static thing, right? But within the universe and spiritual law, time is not static. It's actually just now. The only time that there is now.
Oh,
There is no past and there's no future. And if you actually think about it, like when we actually sit down to think, like, yes, I can remember the past and maybe I can think of and visualize the future, but the only thing that truly exists is now.
mm,
Everything else is like something that's a figment of the mind. And so we're the way that we understand it as human and our human brain understands it is through a linear way, but that's not what time is. Like time is actually
yeah.
now it's all collapsed into one. And that's why there are multiple dimensions. And when we say things like you had a timeline shift or you moved onto another timeline, all you're doing is moving up from your consciousness to another timeline.
That's really cool. Would you say also that our guides and angels and whoever else I don't remember because I have amnesia, would you say they protect us from, I guess, being hurt from specific timelines so that we can fulfill our mission in the present?
Yes. So
Oh,
I think depending on what your soul correction and your soul lessons are, you're going to be blocked from knowing certain information at certain times.
mm,
Um, and I've experienced that myself through reading. So a lot of times when I do readings,
mhm.
when I'm tapping into a person, I can be like, okay, I can just like move this and transmute this. And I'm like, I hear like, no, don't touch that yet. It's on time. And I have to listen to that. I have to adhere to that rule. And so I think when you're ready and your whole energetic body is ready to release or heal or whatever it needs to do with that information, it'll come up for you.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's really cool. Can you talk to us a little bit about mental health? On a soul level, what is that? Because I'm literally diagnosed with everything you can think of and the worst. I
Yeah.
just don't understand. It's like I signed up to take on all of this. Would you say when this happens to people, is that their last existence in this dimension?
Yes. And I think the way that I'll describe it is this. So when you look at things from the soul level, from the spiritual level, right? it's much higher than just the mental layer. So there's 7 layers of our energetic body, and the mental layer, the emotional layer, is just one version, like one part of our entire layer.
Mhm.
And so the soul is looking at everything. Your higher self is looking at your entire energetic body. And so thoughts and emotions are just energy that are being stored. And I feel like mental health, the reason why it's a lot of us go through many, many different things in today's world is
Mhm.
because we are in a society that is very fast paced, very much like information overload, a lot of like just instant gratification, just a lot of things that are not in alignment with what the soul actually needs. We don't rest properly, we don't sleep properly, and these are creating imbalances within our energetic body. We might not eat correctly. We might not get the nutrients that we want. We don't know how to listen to our bodies. We don't exercise, like so many different things, right? And so, because of those imbalances, we start to feel very overwhelmed by mental health. And so, like, I went through my own mental health issues throughout my lifetime, and I know that it's very real. But from the soul's perspective, those I think are actually our breakthrough moments. So before you have a miracle come in or something extravagant come in, right? That very great thing, you have to go through a period of like contraction
Mm.
because that contraction is actually what's pushing out whatever needs to be released.
Mhm.
And once that's released, you're creating space for whatever else needs to come in, the blessing, the miracle, the whatever you're calling it, the abundance, right?
Mhm.
And so I feel a lot of times mental health and mental health issues that we go through, they push us to those moments in today's world because that's the way that we relate to it as humans to
Mhm.
get to that breakthrough.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy. When I was going through mine, I'm diagnosed with schizophrenia and other stuff, but the schizophrenia part really scares people. I somehow feel that that's part of my mission to help people understand that there's nothing to fear about it. And it's just a label that really tears people down. It suppresses their light and way of being and existing.
Yeah.
It's very misunderstood, absolutely misunderstood. Yeah, yeah.
I feel like people that have schizophrenia actually have the greatest psychic abilities, to be honest with you,
Amen
because
to that.
I believe I've
Yeah.
watched and heard something about this because I feel like you are actually open to channels of hearing messages and the veil is very thin for you to hear things, to see things, to experience things that many of us are kind of shunned off from.
Yeah, yeah, you're 1,000% right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
And
was, yeah, go ahead.
I also feel like with modern science and modern health,
Mm,
um, there is this need to label and
mm,
explain everything, right? And from a spiritual perspective, a soul perspective, it's not that complicated. So there often is this like battle between the two
mhm.
of like, okay, let's like even for me, like, yes, I had anxiety. Yes, I also had postpartum depression. I was going through things, but I also feel like I was being expanded from my vessel. My soul was trying to expand and seep through to allow me to become better or a bigger version of me to then take care of my child.
Mm,
Um,
yeah,
that was a whole spiritual thing that I went through. And yes, I went through a mental health thing too, but I don't know if labeling it in the way that it was the way that I would have described it. Like I feel like yes, I went through it and yes, I felt it. Um, and yes, it was dark, but from a spiritual perspective, it's actually what helped me grow the most.
yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, because I remember it was so dark, like so dark. um, I've never felt that amount of pain and despair psychologically, even physically, because my heart was almost giving out because I was so terrified. I didn't understand what the heck was happening.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm grateful you're doing what you're doing. And I'm proud of myself for having the courage to do what I do to connect with people like you, because I think there are so many souls that needs this message.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Touch, I'd like for you to touch a little bit on mental health and spirituality. I understand both, But I think in society, when you put both of them together, that's when they give you the actual labels.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like within spirituality in today's world, there's also a lot of labels. There's also a lot of
Mhm.
we call the spiritual ego, right? The spiritual ego is nothing but like I'm here and I'm better than you and I know I'm better and like it's still attached to that part, right? And so um I feel like they both are very much in coherence with each other. It's just that we understand it as two separate worlds. Like spirituality is its own thing and mental health is its own thing. And I also feel like in modern medicine, modern health,
Mhm.
it doesn't allow spirituality to exactly come through the way that it would want it to in its full form. I guess I can say it that way, right?
Yeah.
Like mental health has like taken on things like mindfulness. So like yes, but even within mindfulness, it like kind of stops it at a certain point because it's like, okay, this is too dangerous. This is going down a road that we can't explain or we don't know, right? And so there's a lot of that in mental health. I feel like for spirituality, I feel like it's like an open world and
Mhm.
it's really your own exploration of it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
depending on where you are, and who you connect with, and who your mentors are, that's the path you're going to take. And so that's what you believe. So there's so many different beliefs within spirituality itself, and not everybody within the spiritual world connects with everybody. Like we all resonate at a different level.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that's true. That's really true. What would you say to anyone? I'm gonna say anyone because when it comes to postpartum, um, I think the mother can be impacted, so can be people around the mother. It's like a chain reaction. What would you say to anyone who have struggled or continue to struggle?
So the first thing I would say is to acknowledge and accept that you're there. I think that's the hardest part because as a mother, you want to be the best version of yourself to take care of your child. There's also a lot of shame around it in general, so we don't talk about it and we kind of stay isolated.
Yeah.
So the first thing I would say is within the postpartum period to find a support group or find a village, a community that you can stay connected with, that you can be open about your own journey for
Mm.
help before you get to a moment where it starts to get too dark and it might be too late.
Yeah, yeah, it can be a very lonely road to
Mhm.
be on. And at times it's so long you don't even know when you're gonna be able to rest.
Yes. And
It can be hard.
yeah, and I would say for those that are caring for somebody that's going through postpartum, like if your partner is going through it or, your family member is, it's about being patient with them because they're not themselves exactly during that time. It's like they're still working through. It's like a work in progress. Like they're still being constructed to
Yeah.
what they need to be. And so during that period, it's like they're trying to figure everything out. They're very overwhelmed. They're trying to take care of themselves. Most likely, they're probably not eating properly or drinking enough water.
Mhm.
They're constantly taking care of this baby, but then from a scientific perspective, their hormones are also fluctuating. And for many women, the hormones just crash. Like for me, that's what happened. Like I was on a high and then all of a sudden it crashed. And then postpartum, I was always depressed and I didn't understand what was happening. But it's because my hormones had a complete like drop
Mhm.
down that I didn't have a period where it was gradual. And so I felt depressed all the time because my hormones just weren't in balance. And even though I knew that, it was hard for me to work through it because the feeling was it was so much, it was like so magnified that I could only be in the feeling. I couldn't like get to the facts of what was actually happening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it can be so tough um to face so much uncertainties
Hmm.
because the ego mind wants to know and explore everything and dissect everything. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Do you have some projects that are in the works or coming up?
Yeah, so I just launched a spiritual coaching program that I'm doing. So it's like a three-pack one-on-one session for those people that are either going through a spiritual awakening, learning more about themselves from a spiritual perspective. So I just launched that program. And I'm in the midst of launching a spiritual community. So it's going to be a free community online. And through that online, there'll be a portal for you to sign up for coaching or for other like workshops and group coaching and things like that. So that'll go live next year,
That's
January.
awesome. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, yeah, awesome. Um, is there anything else you want to ask or talk about that I didn't get to talk about?
No, no, I think we kind of touched on everything.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So when you look at me, other than my hair color, do you see anything else?
I actually see, so it's funny that you asked that question because when I first came on, I was able to see like the power from your aura itself. Like so I really feel like you have this magnetic, powerful energy. And it's the first time I'm meeting you, but I don't know the work that you're doing, but I just feel like whatever you're doing, whatever your mission is, like it's very profound, it's very strong to help and support other people.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
What other questions do I have? What is the meaning of life for you?
It's a good question. So for me, the meaning of life, um, it's really just coming back to remembrance of the soul and being present in the present moment. So I think life is just a remembrance. It's just a process of us actually coming back to who we are and letting go of all the other illusions of the things around us.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Thank you for sharing. Where can people find you if they want to work with you?
So Instagram, I'm on Instagram at Inner Serenity LC. Same handle is on TikTok, and then I have a website
Mhm.
www.innerserenitylifecoaching.com.
Awesome. Well, Urvi, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.